And it really was. It was music was in the soul up there, and it still is. And
With her floor-length hair and a voice as smooth as silk, Crystal Gayle became a country music sensation, captivating the world with her chart-topping hits. Her image was one of gentle elegance, a portrait of grace that seemed untouched by hardship. For decades, she was the beautiful, soft-spoken younger sister of a country music titan, a Grammy-winning star whose life appeared as flawless as her iconic hair. But that image, like so many in the unforgiving world of fame, was only part of the story. Behind the gentle smile and the awards that lined her shelves lay a life shaped by profound loss and a heartbreaking tragedy that would forever change her. Long before she ever sang a note on the world's biggest stages, she was a little girl grappling with a sorrow that alters a childhood. And decades later, after building a legendary career, she would face another loss so immense it would shake the very foundations of her world. This is the untold story of the struggles Crystal Gayle faced when the music faded and the lights went down. This is the story of how a coal miner's daughter overcame devastating loss not once, but twice, to become a quiet symbol of resilience and grace. Stay with us as we uncover the truth about the artist you thought you knew. Long before the world knew her as Crystal Gayle, she was Brenda Gayle Webb, born on January 9, 1951, in a hospital in Paintsville, Kentucky. She was the very last of 8 children, a fact that would profoundly shape her identity and her path. Her family wasn't just large, it was a force of nature, bound by the rugged realities of life in Butcher Hollow, a place so deeply embedded. In the American cultural lexicon, it feels more like folklore than a dot on a map. Her father, Melvin Theodore Ted Webb, was a coal miner, a man who descended into the dark earth each day to carve out a living for his sprawling family. Her mother, Clara Marie, was the resilient heart of the home, a woman tasked with stretching, meager resources to feed and clothe her children. Life in the coal mining communities of Appalachia was unforgiving. It was a world of soot-stained hands and the ever-present danger of the mines. Ted Webb's work came at a terrible cost, as he suffered from black lung disease, the coal miner's curse that slowly stole his breath and strength. Hoping for a better life, the family made a pivotal decision. When Brenda was a young child, they left the Kentucky hills behind and moved to Wabash, Indiana. This move was a seismic shift. They traded the insular, tight-knit community of the Hollow for the more urban environment of a small Midwestern town. For young Brenda, it was the only world she really knew. In Wabash, she attended school, sang in choirs, and experienced a life far removed from the coal dust of her birthplace. But the shadow of the mines followed them. The most formative and heartbreaking event of her young life occurred when she was only 8 years old. Her father, Ted, finally succumbed to his illness in 1959. The loss was immense, a wound that cut deep into the fabric of the Webb family. For a quiet, shy girl like Brenda, the death of her father was a profound trauma. In later interviews, she would reflect on how this early tragedy shaped her personality, suggesting that it may have been what put me in my shell. She has described herself as being more like her shy, reserved father, while her famous older sister, Loretta, took after their outgoing mother. With Ted gone, Clara was left to raise her remaining children alone. The holidays became a bittersweet time. Crystal recalled looking forward to her older married siblings returning home, filling the house with laughter and life, saying, "I couldn't wait for it, and I was always so sad when everybody would leave to go back home." These early experiences of deep family bonds, devastating loss, and her mother's quiet resilience forged the core of the woman she would become. It was a foundation of sorrow and strength, the unseen bedrock upon which a legendary career would one day be built. While Brenda Gayle Webb was navigating a childhood marked by quiet observation and personal loss, one of her siblings was becoming a household name. Loretta Lynn, nearly 2 decades her senior, wasn't just an older sister. She was a supernova in the country music sky. By the time Brenda was a teenager, Loretta was already the undisputed queen of country music, a trailblazer whose raw, honest songs had transformed the genre. The age gap was so significant that Loretta was already married and had started her own family before Brenda was even born. Their relationship was, therefore, less like that of typical sisters and more akin to that of a mentor and protege. As a young girl, Brenda looked up to Loretta with awe, spending summers on the road with her, watching from the wings as her sister commanded sold-out arenas. It was a crash course in the life of a musician, an intoxicating world of tour buses, screaming fans, and the magic of the stage. Loretta recognized that same musical spark in her youngest sister. She bought Brenda her first guitar and taught her how to play. Legend has it that at just 16, Brenda got her first taste of the big time when Loretta fell ill and couldn't perform at the legendary Grand Ole Opry. Brenda stepped in to take her place, singing the Marty Robbins hit Ribbon of Darkness on the hallowed stage of the Ryman Auditorium. She would later call the moment incredible. The experience solidified her ambition. With her sister's help, she secured her first recording contract with Decca Records in 1970, the very same label as Loretta. But there was a catch. The label already had a star named Brenda, the powerhouse vocalist Brenda Lee. It was Loretta who, as the story goes, was inspired by a Crystal hamburger chain sign and came up with the new moniker, Crystal. And so, Crystal Gayle was born. Her debut single, I've Cried the Blue Right Out of My Eyes, was written by Loretta and was a modest success. But it also immediately created a problem. The industry wanted to mold her into a carbon copy of her famous sister. For several years, she struggled, trapped in the shadow of a legend. This period fueled tabloid rumors of a bitter sibling rivalry, especially after Crystal won the CMA Female Vocalist of the Year award in 1977, beating out Loretta. But both sisters have consistently denied these claims. In a 1978 interview, Loretta stated flatly, "We fight a little bit, but that's just sisters, and we never fight over the music business." Crystal echoed this, saying they were both so busy with their careers they didn't have time to bicker. In fact, the truth was far more supportive. Seeing her sister struggle, Loretta gave her the most important advice of her career. "Don't sing anything that I would. We already have one Loretta, and we don't need another." It was a selfless act of love and wisdom, a key that would unlock the door to Crystal's future, allowing her to finally step out of the shadow and into her own light. Armed with Loretta's advice, Crystal Gayle made a daring move. To escape the endless comparisons, she needed a clean break. In 1974, she left Decca Records and signed with United Artists, where she was paired with producer Alan Reynolds, a man who saw her unique talent. Together, they crafted a new sound. Reynolds encouraged her to embrace her diverse musical influences, pop, folk, and jazz, and move away from traditional country. The result was a smoother, more sophisticated style that came to be known as country pop, perfectly suited to her silky voice. The shift paid off. In 1975, she scored her first major hit with Wrong Road Again, followed by other successful singles like I'll Get Over You, which became her first #1 country hit. But the real breakthrough was yet to come. In 1977, Alan Reynolds heard a song by composer Richard Lee. The story goes that the melancholic, jazzy ballad was destined for British singer Shirley Bassey, but Reynolds knew it was perfect for Crystal. The song was Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue. The recording session has become legendary. The track was built around a haunting piano intro by Nashville session musician Hargus Pig Robbins, and lore says Crystal recorded her lead vocal in a single perfect take. She later tried to re-record it, but they could never recapture the raw emotion of that first performance. The impact was immediate and seismic. Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue shot to #1 on the Billboard country chart and crossed over to the pop charts, hitting #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song became a massive international hit, earning her a Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance and cementing her status as a global superstar. Overnight, Crystal Gayle was no longer just Loretta Lynn's little sister. Her image became as iconic as her sound. While many female country singers had big hair, Crystal's floor-length hair was a striking and unforgettable signature. She explained the practical reason behind it. She couldn't afford a traveling hairdresser, so she developed a style she could manage herself. The success of Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue opened the floodgates. She delivered a string of #1 hits, including Talking in Your Sleep, Half the Way, and the beloved duet with Eddie Rabbitt, You and I. She had honored her roots while forging her own path and emerged as a true and original legend. She had found her voice, and the world was listening. As Crystal Gayle's star ascended, she accomplished something perhaps even more remarkable. She maintained a deeply private and stable personal life. In an industry notorious for public drama, she built a world away from the spotlight defined by quiet devotion. The cornerstone of this world was her marriage to Vasilios Bill Gatsimos. They were high school sweethearts who married in 1971, just as her career was taking off. After Bill graduated from law school, he became her manager and the president of their company, Gayle Enterprises. Theirs was a partnership in every sense, personal and professional, and it would become one of the longest-lasting marriages in country music. Crystal often attributed their success to mutual respect and giving each other space to breathe. While she was on the road, Bill was the steady hand managing her career. They made a pact that one of them would always be home for their children, providing a sense of normalcy rare for the kids of superstars. Together, they raised a daughter, Catherine, born in 1983, and a son, Christos, born in 1986. Crystal was a devoted, hands-on mother, recalling moments of coming off stage to breastfeed her daughter. Her son, Christos, was so proud that he would sometimes greet her at school by announcing, "Hi, Crystal Gayle." Both children grew up largely outside the media glare, a testament to their parents' commitment to privacy. Beyond music and family, Crystal proved to be a savvy businesswoman, owning a high-end gift shop in Nashville called Crystal's Fine Gifts, and jewelry for many years. The shop, which sold crystal, jewelry, and art pieces, was a passion project that allowed her to express her creative side in a different medium. In a world that demands celebrities share every detail of their lives, Crystal Gayle remained an enigma. She masterfully kept the focus on her music, rarely delving into personal matters. This unwavering commitment to her family and her private values provided her with an anchor, a source of strength that would prove indispensable when she faced the greatest tragedy of her adult life. Through all the years of fame, one constant remained in Crystal Gayle's life: the deep, complex, and unbreakable bond with her sister, Loretta Lynn. It was a connection that had defined her from birth, a relationship that had weathered tabloid gossip and professional pressures. Loretta wasn't just family. She was a mentor, a guide, and her earliest and most important believer. Their public appearances together were always special. Whether sharing a stage or an interview, their chemistry was a mixture of deep affection and gentle ribbing. In January 2017, their bond was beautifully showcased when Loretta officially inducted Crystal as a member of the Grand Ole Opry. Standing on the Ryman stage, Loretta put her arm around her baby sister and declared they had never once had a fight. It was a touching, full-circle moment. This enduring connection made the events of October 4th, 2022, all the more devastating. On that morning, the world received the heartbreaking news. Loretta Lynn had passed away peacefully at her ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. She was 90 years old. Tributes poured in from around the globe, But for Crystal Gayle, the loss was not of a distant icon. It was intimate and profoundly deep. Her public statement was a model of heartbreaking grace. She posted a series of family photos with a simple, gut-wrenching caption, "The world lost a legend. We lost a sister. Love you, Loretta." In those 7 words, she encapsulated her grief. She was mourning the queen of country music, but more acutely, she was mourning her sister, the woman who had named her, guided her, and stood as a towering figure in her life for over 70 years. This wasn't just the loss of a sibling. It was the loss of the last person who had known her before she was Crystal Gayle. The death of Loretta Lynn was the central tragedy of Crystal Gayle's adult life. It echoed the sorrow of losing her father, but this was different. This was the loss of her North Star, the person whose own journey had made hers possible. The music world had lost its queen, but Crystal Gayle had lost a piece of her soul. In the quiet that followed, she would have to learn how to sing a new song, one without her sister's harmony. In the wake of losing Loretta, Crystal Gayle did what she had always done. She retreated into the quiet strength of her family, handling her grief with dignity and grace. Her life today is a testament to that resilience. Calmer now, more deliberate, but still defined by her love for music and family. She has not retired. Crystal continues to tour and perform for devoted audiences. In 2019, she released a new studio album, You Don't Know Me, Classic Country, co-produced by her son, Chris. The album was a passion project, a collection of covers of classic country songs she grew up with, including a collaboration with sisters Loretta and Peggy Sue. It was